Hello managers, this is my short pitch for creating a training session covering hurricanes, tornadoes, flooding, and earthquakes based on our company risk management manager's concerns over natural disaster preparedness. As you know, it is important to invest in an emergency preparedness program that once created can provide 3 key training outcomes for participants upon completion, including preparing trainees to explain through a group report out on what meaningful training content they recall, ensuring the business is unlikely to suffer permanent closure due to unnecessary death or delayed product or service delivery, identify the functions and elements of an emergency action plan, ultimately protecting the organization's brand, image, and reputation from potential types of emergencies, and participants being able to develop strategies from mock disaster scenarios during a guided tour, testing planned contents, and ensuring a reliable disaster management policy is in place, replicated randomly through emergency drills, with each measured by a report out on, multiple choice questionnaire, and tour discussion. The purpose of this course is to allow confidence in all affected company stakeholders an emergency preparedness plan exists for natural disasters, and that mitigation will be accomplished when employee or assets are unexpectedly threatened. No prerequisites exist for the initial awareness class that is mandatory for all employees. However, all subsequent classes are available for entry-level employees and managers willing to become certified in first aid CPR certification prior to class completion. A group report out covering employee roles in an emergency response ensures the safety and security of staff and clients in the event of an emergency, allowing a group to 1. Explain the roles of the emergency response team members, including their names and descriptions of employee functions, and 2. Illustrate where employees fit in the employer chain of command in the emergency response. A multiple choice questionnaire pertaining to the chain of command, health department's emergency response plan, and relevant materials shows if the trainees can 1. Identify the functions and elements of the emergency action plan, and 2. List the potential types of emergencies, reporting procedures, alarm systems, and evacuation plan. Participation in a guided tour with discussion and demonstration allows for creative problem solving through simulated scenarios with the ability to demonstrate the use of emergency equipment from a provided checkoff list, allowing employees to 1. Develop strategies for mock disaster scenarios, and 2. Choose various examples of unusual events that might indicate an emergency and discuss appropriate actions. The format of the content of the course curriculum follows the path of the curriculum roadmap, starting with the 4-hour introduction to natural disaster awareness, informing employees about the various roles in emergency response, highlighting the efforts of the participation from training in specific primary and alternate roles during an emergency, including why it is important to the success of the company to correctly identify the limits of employee authority. The Introduction to Natural Disaster Awareness course content is highlighted. The intro class is followed by the first aid CPR certification for employees willing to volunteer for responsible roles. Leadership Essentials includes options for self-studies. Business Continuity includes a certification for continuity of operations. And finally, Crisis Communication Planning comes complete with resources. Training approximately 500 employees with the cost-benefit analysis results of $594 per employee can be accomplished in 4-hour increments free of charge through FEMA. A positive 27.9% return on investment for conducting a 12-day training session using an in-house instructor offers an appropriate natural disaster emergency awareness training program. Research suggests that disaster training consisting of didactics and hands-on exercises measured through a multiple-choice questionnaire improves learner knowledge of emergency preparedness by almost 3%, indicating the delivery method chosen for this course curriculum, consisting of a subject matter expert lecturing in a classroom-type seating layout utilizing audio-visual instruction, including overhead slides and video, is appropriate for instructional delivery in this class setup due to the nature of lecturing such a large class in a short time with efficiency. The 2 objectives of this class lecture are 1. To identify the difference between internal-external safe locations measured through a post-training survey, and 2. To have most training participants feel increased confidence in awareness training of natural disasters, increasing future program modifications from creative safety ideas measured through post-class increases of voluntary suggestions offered in a suggestion box. The addition of hands-on simulation behavior modeling enhances the evaluation of the transfer of knowledge typically lost from one-way lectured communication. This blended learning delivery method and design encourages recruitment of designated first responders along with responsible managerial employees and is appropriate for instructional delivery as it functions as a bridge between the research lecture content and virtual reality environments, increasing transparency, illumination of class content, and motivation for participation in pre-disaster safety behavioral planning. The two objectives of the hands-on simulation behavior modeling are 1. To describe strategies that reduce the impact of future disasters experienced by employees through increasing the amount of knowledge transfer assessed through increased targeted sustainable first responder sign-ups, increased productivity, reduced absenteeism and turnover, and 2. To explain the need for interactive online training technologies, including web-based applications, to decision makers measured by future increases in financial investment based on ROI. The post-evaluation survey used for assessing my training lecture Objective 1 of identifying the difference between internal-external safe locations is assessed through asking 1. Does the EAP contain emergency procedures for both evacuating and sheltering in place? And 2. During the tour, was it clear that the facility has signs showing evacuations and shelter in place? The second lecture objective of having most training participants feel increased confidence in awareness training for natural disasters, increasing future program modifications, which increase voluntary suggestions offered in a suggestion box, is assessed through asking 1. Does the organization have a written emergency action plan and were updates to current avenues of organizational readiness ideas promoted? And 2. Are there procedures and protocols for responding to a medical emergency in the EAP, and are they up to date with current information? Training Method 2, consisting of hands-on simulation behavioral modeling through a guided tour, has a training objective consisting of participants being able to describe strategies that reduce the impact of future disasters, increasing the amount of knowledge transfer assessed through increased targeted sustainable first responder sign-ups, increased productivity, and reduced absenteeism and turnover, and is assessed through asking 1. Did management actively participate in the class tour exercise? And 2. Did management actively participate in the post-tour discussion? The second objective of hands-on simulation behavior modeling through a guided tour, consisting of participants being able to explain the need for interactive online training technologies, including web-based application measured by future increases of financial investment based on ROI, is assessed through asking 1. Are there electronic technologies available for first responders to be trained on to meet the needs of evacuees who don't speak English or have special needs as required under the Americans with Disabilities Act? And 2. Do you think electronic technologies with GPS useful for locating first responders during an actual emergency should be included in an EAP policy? This training toolkit leads to employee development through a combination of formal education, assessment, job experience, and interpersonal relationship, as it offers professional credentials encouraging further individual career growth opportunities in leadership, communication, and business skills. Job experience increases as the training session will take place during working hours and is intended to inspire individual development or job enlargement, leading to increased responsibility and thus promotion, requiring leadership and organizational skills in service to others. The course curriculum helps identify employees with managerial potential and measures current managers' strengths and weaknesses and potential to excel into higher level executive positions through individual and team efforts, highlighting decision process and communication styles, increasing productivity. Illumination of personal tendencies, needs, preferable work environments, and even future career direction, all discussed in performance appraisals and 360-degree feedback, further assess the value of the class post-training when changed opinions, attitudes, and behaviors are captured. This training session builds interpersonal relationship skills as it promotes interaction with experienced organizational members through mentoring, resulting in the success of saved lives. Thank you for your time and attention. I look forward to your feedback.